How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about saving money in the long run. Many times when you see advertisement, they'll say, if you buy this, it'll save you a lot of money in the long run, right? But there are a couple of things you should watch out for before laying down a couple of $100 to buy whatever they're trying to sell you. This video is brought to you by Moomoo, commission-free trading app. You can get 15 free shares of stock just for signing up and depositing various amounts of money. If you deposit $1,000, you can get all 15 free shares. In addition, you get 5.1% APY on uninvested cash as long as you deposit more than $500. Check out my referral link down in the video description below. They say it costs a lot of money to be poor, and there are a lot of examples for this. Car preventive maintenance can cost you a lot of money down the line if you don't do it today. Buying stuff on cash advance on credit cards, just using the credit on your credit cards can cost you a lot in finance charges. Not having the money to buy in bulk to give you additional savings. Not having the money to buy expensive equipment so that you can save in the long run. And also just not having a bunch of cash laying in a savings account so you can use it for whatever reasons necessary, like medical expenses, if your home needs repairs, car needs repairs, all of that. If you watch advertisements, a lot of the catchphrases will be, buy this now, it'll save you a lot of money in the long run. But there's a catch to that they never tell you, which is if you buy, you actually have to use it for a certain number of times before you break even on it. This becomes very apparent if you ever buy something from Costco and you think you're getting a big discount because you're buying a dozen muffins, but you end up only finishing maybe like 6 of them and then the rest goes bad. The way to figure out if you'll really use it all, for one, buy a trial of it first. Even if it's, even twice as much expensive. Buy 1 unit of it, use it all up, maybe even buy it again. Make sure you're gonna keep on using it before you buy a whole bunch of them in bulk. This is a Rensselaer espresso machine. They run for about $860. Single boiler. There's no PID controller, so I added my own over here, around $200 for that. Also, you have these accessories, tamping mat, spring-loaded tamper, and also a very fancy coffee grinder. You can also think of it as saving time. You don't have to run out, drive 5 to 10 minutes, get your coffee from somewhere and then come back. Unless, of course, you have an errand boy that can do it for you. It added up to be about $1,400. So to make things easy, we're not even going to talk about the additional costs of buying coffee, buying almond milk or regular milk. Let's just say it's about $5 per cup. Let's say the equipment cost is $1,500. You need to drink 300 cups before you break even on this thing after you get the machine. Will you actually use it every single day? If you do, well, you're gonna make your money back in just 1 year. And for 2 people, well, it only takes 6 months. If you don't drink it as often, of course, it's gonna take longer. Another example I have is a meat cutter. Notice a trend here. My equipment's slightly on the pricey side, but I use them heavily and it saves me money in the long term. I started off with a lower price meat slicer, but it saved me so much money because I have hot pot so often. And also the lower price one, it actually doesn't cut as well. It doesn't cut as even. It doesn't cut as fast. And it doesn't even cut frozen meat. This one does all of that. I've been using it for a couple of months now. No issues whatsoever. It's just a workhorse. It just does its job. Worth every penny. If you buy a giant piece of meat, it's around $7 per pound for lamb at Costco. And you can get it down as low as $6 per pound for like New York steak if you buy it in bulk. If you like hot pot like me and you go to the Asian grocery store, pre-sliced meats is around $20 a pound. So you're saving there every time you cut a pound of it. You're saving like $15 or so. So you just need to cut it, 20, 30 times or so, and then you make your money back on the machine. Or you can even compare it to, what if you went out for hot pot, right? Look at this. This is just crazy. I just went out for hot pot. 2 people. The total is about $90, $45 per person. And I was being pretty frugal about it. I only have like 7 items over here. I went one other time too, and it cost like $65, $70 per person. So you can easily make back the cost of this machine, even though, whoa, you look at it, it's so expensive, $350 for a meat slicer. But if you look at it in terms of in exchange of going out to eat at a restaurant, instead of going out 3 times for hot pot, you already made your money back. Here's another example that I personally have not made my money back on just yet. I have to use it enough, which is a soda machine. Each one of those soda stream things, A refill costs about $18 to $20 right now. And instead of me going to buy a refill, I just went straight to buying a giant 20-pound CO2 bottle, which costs $220. And then the refill is about $30. I have to use it about 12 times before I break even. So far, I used it about 2 times. So I got some ways to go, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get there after maybe a year or 2 or so. Before filling it, it's 2.4 pounds. Close it up in there. Make sure this is frozen. Close the nozzle and we'll turn it on just ever so slightly. About a minute later, I'm gonna close this back up. There's air stored up inside this connector. I'm gonna release some air. Close that back up. Unscrew this, and this is all filled. Let's see how heavy it is now. 2.8 pounds. The bottle itself weighs 1.9 pounds. 0.9 pounds is close to about 14.5 ounces. So this is actually 100% full. Usually these return on investment requires a pretty big upfront cost, couple of $100s, and then you have to use it consistently over a period of time, 1 year to 3 years before you break even. Refilling my own SodaStream bottle 12 times only used up half of the 20-pound bottle. If I'm able to use up the rest of them, I save about $200 or so. Another example is my Gridtie solar system. The solar panel wires is actually going through my walls into this Gridtie inverter. It's a 500 watt and you can see it's blinking green. It means power is being fed into my house wires. The sun has kind of shifted a bit and now I'm only getting 15 watts, but it peaks at around 250 on full sun. And I make it so that it's underpowered so that my house is always consuming more than this. So I'm never actually feeding energy back into the grid. And I get a lot of comments about this. It does have anti-islanding feature, which means that if the power goes out and there is sun coming in, it's not going to energize the grid for you. Therefore, utility workers working on a dead power line thinking that it's dead, it will be dead because the Gridtie inverter tries to sense if there is a voltage on the grid before feeding power back in. I estimate I get about 1.5 kilowatt hour per day. Per kilowatt hour of electricity is just insane right now. Just a couple of years ago, it was 33 cents. Now it's 40 cents per kilowatt hour in California in the Bay Area right now. So it generates about 60 cents a day. Total equipment costs about $500. Your return on investment is about 2.3 years. And I bought this whole system about 5 years ago. So I already made my money back and it's making electricity for me, although at a low rate, just enough to cover the bare minimum amount that I'm using, but it does offset my electricity usage by about 60 cents a day. Before you rush out and buying all this expensive equipment, you got to figure out if you really will use this consistently in the long term. Too many instances of advertisement saying, you know, it'll save you money in the long term. You go out and buy it, you use it a couple of times and you go, you don't like it too much. But by the time you use it, you can't return it anymore. So make sure you're really going to use it. And in order to do so, you know, buy some trial sizes, buy them at full price at retail store. If it's something that they're selling at Costco, right, it looks really good, go to the grocery store and buy a single pack of it or something very similar. If you're still going through them like crazy, okay, buy the value pack, buy the max 20 package pack. All of this I talk about is of course only for people that are pretty stable in their finances. They have some money in their savings, at least a couple $1,000s. So you can take some of that, lay out some upfront costs. I call this infrastructure costs. And after you put it down, you get a return on investment in a couple of short years. And afterwards, it's like free. You get to use it. It pays you back in dividends because you don't have to go out and spend more additional money on your coffee, sliced meats, fizzy water, sodas, even energy. This is probably why my expenses are very low, because I have so many of these tips and tricks in order to not spend any money in the future and also in the long run. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more.